Hey friends, how are you all doing? It is Folk Friday. It is a Friday like none other. I don't know. We're out catching our neighbor's pigs, so I'm all hot and sweaty. Putting some clarity on so I can maybe remember and think. I'm so excited to introduce you to my friend Tiff today and just allow you to hear her story. So we're gonna wait for her to pop in here. I know like doing lives together is always a little, scary, something new, right? So come on in, come on in. How's your Friday going so far? There you are, Tiff. I didn't have time to put makeup on. It's been crazy. Come on in. Hey, girl.
Hey. It took me a minute. I know I watched a video how to do that, going live with somebody, but it's like, I'm doing it wrong.
You got it though. You are here. And
Yay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay.
Yes. My dog's going a little berserk right now because we chased our neighbor's piggies down and one is still out there running around. So.
Oh no.
So I feel like all these Fridays, there's always something that like happens. Yeah. Hey, this is real life. So.
It's always an adventure.
Oh, it's so fun to be here with you in this space. I know we're always going back and forth, but
yeah.
So I just kind of want to introduce what Folk Friday is, and then I'm going to introduce Tiff. So Folk Friday is really a way to bring people together, our community together that isn't quite in our little town, right? But to bring women, families together that are really interested in learning more about wellness, holistic wellness, homesteading, and to hear from others that are doing it, right? Just to inspire everyone out there that if you, if you are dealing with health issues, if you want to learn something new like fermenting or you want to homestead, like these are just things that are coming from those that are doing it. So I'm excited to introduce Tiff Goodson from Goodsteading. I love you. You just switched that, and it's so cute.
Thank you. That was my husband's idea.
Awesome. I love it. I love that you guys can bounce ideas off of each other and do this together because that's important. Tiff and I met on here. I just found her. I saw your greenhouse and I was like, ooh, really cute. And then I was like, oh, she's so cute. And I just love your stories. You're always sharing in stories. And I just felt like a connection and I could relate to you. So that's how we met. And I'm just so glad I came across you. And your story, and I'm just learning more of it. It's a deep story, but we're going to dive a little bit into it and your reasons for leaving a city home, which you said you loved, and then buying a piece of property and doing this homestead thing. So, would you introduce yourself and tell us about who you are and
and hopefully you can hear me okay, because I'm having to sit right next to the AC. So okay. I'm currently in this is my parents' tiny house. We bought our property and knowing that we'd have to live in our camper for a few months, totally new experience for us. I wasn't exactly prepared. I thought, it would be a fun adventure, but we only have one toilet with 6 people, 4 adults and 2 children. So you can imagine it's brought some challenges, but so I'll just kind of put this out there really quick. If there's any children around, just maybe grab some headphones or step outside, or you can just catch the replay later because it'll be up for 24 hours. So my story, I think it definitely ties into why we bought our property. Two things are, for me, my health was suffering just beyond. There were moments where I literally thought, I think my health is declining. I might die soon. Like, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, young 30s, obviously young mom. And I know that my health has stemmed from my childhood. My mom has even told me she was a single mom for the first 7 years of my life. And she's just so apologetic that she didn't know how important nutrition was and how to feed me. And I truly think that has impacted a lot of how my body functions. And so I know that, we've got only 30 minutes together, super short. So
if it goes over a little, it's okay.
Okay. So without, just boring people with the details, but my health got to a point where my brain was not, I didn't have like a chronic disease, but it was like my body was attacking itself. I don't have thyroid issues, but those things started to just really come to a head. I was seeing a functional medicine doctor and got all of the tests. Like, we're talking $300 to $600 a pop. Like,
Mm-hmm.
And we really couldn't afford that, but we knew that something had to change. I'm very grateful I was able to do that, because I've now discovered, there's certain food that do cause the inflammation in my body. Like, I can't have cucumbers and apple. I can kind of hear like a little interference, so I don't know if others are hearing that as well. Or okay. So it really was just this big picture of my health was suffering. My cortisol levels, I know I shared this with you a little bit. The cortisol levels in your body are naturally supposed to decline kind of, as you're sleeping. And then they ramp back up when you wake up, just to help you wake up. But mine never do. Mine just stay sky high. My functional medicine doctor she was really blown away at how high it was. And so I've really always suffered with not sleeping. And I know I was sharing this with you, but I think it's kind of an important point that, I vividly remember as probably an 8-year-old little girl, just after my mom and my stepdad, who is my dad, I consider him my father, and he brought a little girl to the marriage. So I have a stepsister, but I remember it was our nap time, and just actually asking her, can you explain to me how I can actually go to sleep? Like, can you tell me how to go to sleep? And so just all of these things are just leading up. I also experienced extreme trauma as a child, as a 3-year-old girl, and sexual abuse by somebody in the family. And so I haven't dived deep into, I guess, kind of therapy. I've gone through counseling and healing and things, but I definitely want to dive deep soon into just therapy and healing, and how that affects my health is just nightmares and not sleeping, and of course the high cortisol through the roof. And we're talking, like, I would just wake up crying and just spend the day crying because I was so exhausted and not able to really spend time with my children. I had no energy. I still kind of to this day have a hard time retaining information. I can read something, I know that it's good or bad, but unless I kind of write it down, it's just gone. So that's kind of the long, short story of my parents were already out here in the country. I was definitely one of those that said, no, I'm never doing this. I'm never moving out here. We live in the middle of nowhere. Why would I want to do this? And gosh, I mean, just our priorities shifted. And I definitely don't want this to be a picture of the city is wrong and the country is good, or, you know, your life in the urban is great and or is not good and homesteading is the only way to do it. That's definitely not at all what I'm saying. But for us and my health, we wanted to tackle it head on. Like we are in it for the long game of eventually, you know, we're wanting to get dairy cows and, you know, have our own raw milk, and we do have chickens now. So just incorporating a lot of healthy fats, some raw foods into my diet. And it's been a long journey. It has not been easy or fun, but me cutting out what I know I can't eat and very slowly, you know, adding in these things, I'm definitely starting to see improvements. I'm emotionally just better able to handle things. I haven't noticed my sleep so much has changed, but I've definitely noticed inflammation is gone. So maybe that's an odd story, but that is our story to homesteading. Like, and it's okay. Like, this is not for everyone, but we wanted to actually be on the ground, making our stuff, taking care of the animals, and we don't fully know what our plans are with our property, but we would love to use it somehow to serve others. I don't know if that's farming and growing food for other people or inviting people into our space and just loving on them. So
yes. Oh, yes. That is such an amazing story, Tiff. And thank you for being brave to share that. Because I think sometimes we paint this picture of homesteading as this romantic, you know, thing. And there's purpose behind it. And I love that you shared that there's purpose. Like, you loved where you were. And even if you are, anyone that's watching, if you're in the city and you love it, you can still find these wholesome foods, you know, around you. Checking out Weston A. Price chapter leaders in your area. But it sounded like, Tiff, like you wanted that connection to the land because that was part of your healing journey. Yeah. And have you found that, like, you're more at peace where you're at?
Oh yeah, I mean, my husband and I joke that I have never been so active, and I know that sounds silly. You know, I'm 35 years old, and you know, I should be maybe past this by now, but because of the things that I've been suffering with, like I would get so drained just having to run an errand or two with the children in the morning, and so I would have to like talk myself up and know that if I'm going to go do this, you know, I can't do X, Y, and Z later in the afternoon. And that's just, it's no way to live. And so the peace and the joy that we have found here has, I feel like, without sounding cheesy, I guess, it seriously has, like, gardening and being out in the outdoors and my hands in the dirt, and taking care of the animals, has just breathed new life in me and new energy. Yeah, so.
And you moved you're in Georgia. So were you in, like, what city were you in?
We were just north of Atlanta. And so, my husband, and also, you know, another thing too, that kind of all these things impacted why we chose to move out here. My husband has a fantastic job. The people love him. He loves the people. The company takes care of their employees so well. But the commute it was brutal on him. It was brutal on us. I felt it was almost like I found myself trying to hoard our weekends together because that's all the time that we had. And I was like, no, we can't do anything. No, we can't go, see all these other people or have all these other things because the weekend is our time. And another thing, I was like, I don't want to live that way. I want to serve people and I want to go, have community. So, and it was funny is he finally was able to have a work from home day. And we at that time thought, gosh, this is life changing. And it was. Like we actually were able to have more meals together on that day. But just the time that we have gained being here is exponentially more than even actually I would have imagined. And I would say the same for him, with being out here and he can go fishing, he can get on a tractor and just, hoot or scoot around if he wants to. Like it has just breathed new life into him as well. And so, so we were in North Georgia. And we are now kind of in, I guess, the middle south of Georgia.
Okay. Yeah. And so, I think that would breathe life into your marriage, your family, just having more time. And I love that you leaned into that. Like your health journey, you knew that it had to change. Something had to give. Your husband's career, like something had to give there because it just wasn't working. And I just want to encourage all of you that are listening, watching, lean into those nudges, because if you know that something's just not working, don't keep going through the motions. Sometimes it is scary. That change is scary, and stepping away from comfort and what you've always known, even if it's in health, going the traditional medical route and then switching to, a functional doctor, that can be scary. But if you're not getting answers, or if you're just beating yourself against the wall, right? Like you're just hitting a wall constantly. Something has to change. And so that takes you leaning in and listening and making little steps, right? So I guess, all of that, like, how did you learn to homestead? How did you learn all these things then?
Totally trial and error. I mean, I think I've always been attracted to the lifestyle, and just more of the simple. But I am not a master gardener, not a master chef. I think I simply just want to learn. Is there an echo? I'm hearing an echo.
My phone was ringing, so
okay.
I can hear you still. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're a lot quieter.
I think my neighbor's calling me for getting the pigs.
Okay.
Why is it not?
Gotta go wrangle them pigs.
Yeah.
Okay, it's better now.
Is it better?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh yeah, I was talking about homesteading. So I've always been attracted to just kind of this lifestyle, but it seriously is trial and error. I watch a ton of YouTube videos, read a lot of blogs. I think it's just maybe the willingness to try, even if I fail. And my husband can tell you that is extremely hard for me and it's not because I'm a perfectionist, because I'm not. It's more of I don't think that I'm, smart enough or courageous enough or, have the skill to do it. And I don't know, kind of being out here, it hasn't been a magic pill, but it certainly has just let me just have the freedom. I mean, we loved our house and our neighborhood, but there were issues where all of our neighbors, except for one, were older. I would say 70 or older. And so I started to notice, we were in that house for, I think, 6 years. And I started to notice that, when the kids would go out and play, that everybody would go back inside. Or if some of our neighbors, this one in particular, he was always so kind and loved to talk to Chris and I, but when the kids would try to come up and just have kind of a conversation, it was almost like they were ignored. So that's just kind of a small whatever that I know my kids have felt such freedom just to play and be. And, we were homeschooling before all of this, and that's what we're going to continue doing. But just being out in nature, and it has been so life-giving and just filling, just all of us. I'm not going to get emotional now, but if I sit back and I look at everyone, it feels like we're all just changing and shifting for the better. So
Yeah, there's definitely a wholesomeness, a vibrance for life when you sit back and you look at your children.
Yeah.
When you reflect on yourself and the growth that you have. I
Yeah.
mean, there's honestly, and there's days that are just so stinking hard, and you're like, why are we doing this? We could go and shop from the local farmer that grows chicken, or
Yep.
why are we wrangling pigs? Or all of those things. But
Yeah.
then when you sit on the porch and have coffee in the morning and you just look around, it's just like peaceful. It's that peace, that slow living, and the connection to your food and the connection to your earth. And so YouTube, right there with you.
Oh yeah.
All the things. And that's why I feel like I want to create this. And then you said you want to create something on your homestead too. And it is just bringing people together in this safe space.
Right.
Where we can come around the table, we can have conversation, we can talk about what our ancestors used to do, and learning new things alongside of one another, because YouTube can only do so much, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so, sorry, I should have I don't know how to turn my notifications off. I should learn how to do that. So as we're wrapping up here, any questions? I'm seeing so many join. Hello, hello. And we are gifting some fun things from our homestead to one live viewer. And I don't know if that's going to be a surprise or not. We didn't really talk about that. Is that going to be a surprise?
I can mention it or not. It's up to you.
Okay. You may if you want to. We'll mention it at the end, definitely at the end. Okay. Let's wrap this up here. I just enjoyed learning from you, listening to you, and I think the other thing that caught our attention was hugel beds. You do hugel beds, and that's something my husband came home and a while ago. I think he was listening to Weston A. Price. He listens to podcasts at work. And he's like, we need to try this. And then when I saw that you did it, I was like, oh my goodness. So, which is fascinating.
It is, and it's so fun. I mean, granted, I'm probably a nerd here. Again, not an expert, but just Google all the benefits. I love it that it's one way, and it's another way that we can take care and steward the land that we've been given. So, you're using all the bits and pieces and the scraps from the land, and maybe, random logs. And if you don't, if you're in the city, you don't have to go and cut down a tree, but you can, bury sticks and get yard waste, and compost. And so anyway, I am so fascinated with the layering of the beds, and then how it all breaks down, and then just the life that it breathes into what you're growing. And I think I've mentioned this before in stories, that we are in, I almost feel like this is par for the course everywhere for everyone, basically. But I've just been seeing so many people struggling with pest and disease issues this year. I don't know if you are, but we also have a lot of just heat and humidity here, so I know that's probably contributing to some. But I actually forgot what I was going to say.
Something probably about the hugel beds. Do your hugel beds not, like the plants that grow in the hugel beds, they probably thrive?
They are. That's exactly what I was going to say. So yeah, I've shared that in stories that it's amazing to see that the production is up, the disease is down, the pest issues are down, the moisture level is, I mean, because the trees and stuff are at the bottom, just it's able to retain the moisture. And so it's mind-blowing that, like, you know, we have to go and water our raised beds so much more than we have to do the ones that are connected to the earth. And without sounding so woo-woo, my husband thinks I do sometimes, so there's just something about, if it's growing from the earth, I feel like the dirt and the soil and the nutrients, they're just able to kind of, I don't know, grow. I mean, because they're live, they're living beings, and they're able to heal to a certain degree. I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know this for sure, but you know, in a raised bed, and I'm not against raised beds by any means, but I'm kind of mulling all of this over just through experience and time. There are things that you can put in your beds to amend the soil, yes, and we do that. But I'm just kind of discovering that things are so much more healthy and life-giving in our hugel beds. And so I think we're going to continue throughout the years to have them. And so,
and you're right, like so much of it is trial and error. Like, what crops do I actually eat? Or, you know, how, like, what farming practices work for us, rather than, you know, raised beds were the thing, you know, during quarantine, and the new project, which I love seeing all the new little gardeners popping up and trying, you know, and it just takes that experience in trying and what works. And we were just out in the garden this morning, drinking our coffee and, you know, picking produce, and my husband said, look, it's working, something's working. We actually grew cabbages and nothing ate them. They're beautiful. Like, so you know that the soil is healthy, and it all, and then we made the correlation, like, we're total nerds. And I know some people like that, or some people are like, well, that's crazy. But it's the same within us. If our soil, our gut health is healthy, we are healthy on the outside. When we're not, that's when those rashes pop up, or we have brain fog, or we're bloated. Like, that's our check engine signal. And so when things are growing in the earth and our plants are coming and, like, there's bugs eating them, or there's decay, or there's rot, that's a check engine signal from the earth saying, hey, something's not right down below in the soil that needs to be fixed. I mean, God, our creator, created both, you know, soil and us, and, like, we are out of the earth, and I believe that there's a total connection there. So hugel beds. I feel like we're getting off on a tangent. Research hugel beds.
Just Google it. That's another thing. I do YouTube and Google and podcasts. Oh man, every chance I get, I'm trying to listen and just gain information, even if it's something I'll never do, you know, or it's just not practical right now. You know, it's good to listen and to learn from others. And I just, as I get older, I'm only really just wanting to do things of value, and our time is precious. And so let's do the things that we know are of value and life-giving, whether it's for us personally or a family or others, and just, stewarding the things that we've been given, stewarding it well to pass on to our children.
Yeah. I hear my dog going crazy, so we're going to wrap up. I love that. You said so many valuable things. So what two things would you share as people are thinking of like just this new lifestyle or aspiring to it, or maybe they're doing it. Like,
Yeah.
you may go help him. What two things would you share with our viewers? And then you can share your little giveaway too. Like,
Oh yeah, sure. Okay.
later. I don't
So
know how we're gonna do that. We can talk about it.
yeah, I think we can actually check settings and see who came
Okay.
to the live, and then maybe we could just randomly pick somebody. I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But so short and sweet, I think research. Whether you're wanting to physically, buy a property and move to a homestead, or just, researching something that's new that you can do right now in your home, wherever you live. Research where you can find raw milk, getting that home, and maybe making cheese or butter, whatever it is. Just one little thing that you can do to make a change for the health of your family. So research, and then, I think I would say gratitude. And I know that maybe sounds cheesy as well, but life in general it's going to be hard and difficult a lot of times, or things are just simply, they're just not going to go as we thought and as we imagined in our heads. And so, I did not imagine being in my camper for this long and only have one working toilet. And, I could go on and on and on and on. But instead of dwelling on that, which sometimes I do, but instead of dwelling on that, just being grateful that I do have a working toilet, and that I really do have food, even though I'm actually having to cook our food on an outdoor kitchen in 4 or 5 o'clock Georgia heat, and I'm spraying bullets. Like, I still have good food that I can feed my family. So I don't know, for what it's worth, research and gratitude.
Yes.
And so, so what I would love to give away is just some flower seeds. I've got some Bright Light Cosmo seeds, the flower, and then I've got some Love in a Puff seeds, and I think I might have a few other ones. So yeah, I was just thinking some seeds from our farm.
So they're ones that you saved.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw in, we have garlic that we just harvested. And so,
Nice.
So I'll send that to, whoever so it'll just be a little package that, be a double package, right?
Yay.
So, so that'll be from our farm too. And you can experiment with growing garlic in the fall. So, we can, I don't know if we can pick one now.
Okay.
Or if we just do like a random picker, I can go through settings probably. Let me pop off of here because this gets me all nervous when I'm trying to do multiple things.
Okay.
Oh, it was so fun, and your story was so empowering and uplifting, and I just hope it encouraged all of you that watched and came, and thank you, Tiff, for giving your time today.
Yeah.
And this will be a replay then on IGTV, and I'll download it and send it to you, Tiff, so that way you can share it too. So
Awesome.
Have an amazing weekend.
Thank you, friend. You too.
Yes, take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.